Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Sorry I've been away for a little while. I got sick and I didn't really feel up to shooting, which sucks because I just bought all this new gear and I was super amped and I was ready to go. And then I realized I was sick and I didn't want to do anything. As you probably guessed from the title of this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I feel is really important and also something that I've been racking my brains over for the last few weeks. Obviously, with the start of my business being on the horizon, I've been thinking a lot about branding. And the reason I've been thinking so much about branding is because I've been trying to give a name to this company and I'm not quite sure what I want to call it and X, Y, and Z. So I wanted to go into a bit more detail today in this video about personal branding and business branding. I want to cover what these two things are, what these two things aren't, the pros and cons of both, what I decided to go with and why. So let's start with personal branding. First and foremost, just what is personal branding? You might have never even have heard of it. It sounds super obvious, but a personal brand is built around you personally. It usually means you name your company using your own name or some derived version of that name or a nickname that you're known by. And right now, in the age of the internet, it's kind of easier than ever to make a personal brand, to create something from nothing, to get your name out there. With all the avenues we have like social media like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and especially YouTube, it's arguably easier to create a personal brand than a business brand. So you might be wondering at this point, yeah, but Mason, what are some of the pros of, having a personal brand over having a business brand? Business brands have been around for hundreds of years and they're all well known and it's easy, right? Not necessarily. As I mentioned a moment ago, personal brands are arguably easier to start due to all the availability of social media and the internet. On top of this, personal brands are flexible. For example, if you start with a single focus and decide to diversify, or you do the opposite and you start with a wide focus and decide to niche down, personal brands are much easier to shift the focus of. Because they tend to be branded with your name and not a company name that states what you do, it becomes much easier to shift focus. Secondly, personal brands are great if you want to develop a speaking career. While it's tough to associate your name with your chosen area of expertise, once you've established yourself as a go-to in that field, you'll be seen as somebody else who people want to hear from. And that's invaluable for building your business. Another large pro is that personal brands are perfect if you are in a one-person industry. So if you are an author, a filmmaker, photographer, artist, public speaker, any of these things and so many more, then a personal brand may just be perfect for you. A strong personal brand used effectively can really boost your business and attract new prospects. So that all sounds great, right? And it is, but like anything, having a personal brand isn't without its cons. First and foremost, your company name will not state what you do. When you're trying to break into a new market and you don't explicitly state what you do in the name of your business, it can be really difficult to be known for that thing. Obviously, you can circumvent this by having a strong tagline that explains what you do, but bear in mind when starting a personal brand, you will have to use that all the time until people begin to associate your name with the services or products that you offer. Secondly, it is infinitely more difficult to sell a personally branded company. For example, a lot of businesses start, people go into retirement and they choose to sell their business to give them a nice little nest egg to retire on. But with a personal brand, you can't really do that. I say you can't, you can, but it's much more difficult. So if selling your business in future is something that you're interested in, bear that one in mind. So that's a rough outline of personal branding. And on the flip side to that, you have business branding. So what is business branding? A business brand is built around an identity you create for your business. Rather than using your personal identity, you generate a whole new identity for the business that reflects the values and services that you offer. Obviously, business brands take a lot more upfront work to create because you have to come up with a name that really reflects what you do and your core business values. This means crafting something meaningful from nothing, and it can be really tough, but it also might just be worth it for your business. So what are some of the pros of having a business brand? First and foremost, creating a business brand forces you to think through your ideas. It forces you to come up with a plan because you're trying to come up with a name that reflects that plan. So without having the plan, you can't come up with a name. In coming up with this plan, you'll be forced to decide who your ideal customers are, what services you want to offer, and what your company vision is. And that's kind of invaluable information to have, trust me. Secondly, business brands allow you to position your business from the get-go. Your company name explains what you do. Therefore, you can use the tagline to generate excitement or choose to drop the tagline altogether if you prefer that kind of aesthetic. As a polar opposite to personal brands, business brands are also easier to sell. Going back to what I said a moment ago about selling businesses, obviously having a business brand means that you can sell on the name of your business as a going concern with no issue of having your name associated with it. As with having a personal brand, having a business brand is not without its shortcomings. So what are some of the cons of having a business brand? It is hard work to build a business brand. You're trying to decide what services you're going to offer, who your ideal customer is going to be, and come up with a name all at the same time while also trying to get things off the ground. And it can be really difficult to juggle those things and to position yourself in a market where you don't necessarily know who you are or what you want to offer. Lastly, business brands aren't as flexible if your interests change. If you choose to niche down or scale up in different areas, sometimes your company name won't reflect that. And that's where things can get a bit difficult to explain. The waters can get muddy and customers can get confused. And if you decide to change course completely and offer something totally different, you may have to start a second company, and that's not always ideal. So can you do both? In short, yes. A really great example of this is Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V as you may know him. He has all of these great brands like VaynerMedia and Empathy Wines and the Gallery Media Group. He kind of makes all of these brands synonymous with his personal brand. You wouldn't know that there was all these other things going on behind the scenes because he's just Gary V, right? And that's a great example of having a business brand and using your personal brand to tie it all together and really sell it as a whole package. As you go on to answer questions and convey information to your audience, your authority and therefore your brands grow along with that. Alright guys, so to wrap this video up, what am I going to be doing? For me, a personal brand is another way of saying reputation. If you want to shoot cool stuff for other people, they're going to hire you based on the quality of your work and your reputation. So I'm going to be going down the avenue of personal branding. I'm going to be using my name to reflect my company, and that's just what I've chosen to do because I feel like that's what works best for me. Hopefully you guys use this video to find what works best for you and get out there and just start crushing it. Just get it done. You know how it is. Alright guys, I am going to end the video here. If you like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. While you're down there, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I upload new videos, because it warms my heart and I love to have you guys here, and I like you to know when I click upload. It's a good time. Leave me some comments. As always, I love to interact with you guys. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!